Hi everyone, back on a Monday, but this is 2 weeks since the last time I vlogged, and there is a reason why I didn't vlog yesterday. Last week Monday, yesterday was Sunday, so I'm let off. But last week Monday, as I normally do, I'm vlogging, and last week Monday I wasn't at home because I was away, and I decided that seeing as I've taken time out and I'm being out of my usual routine, I didn't do anything coaching related or vlogging related or social media related. I decided to spend that time being where I was and taking in all of that, rather than trying to converge what I do when I'm normally at home with where I am. And that was a deliberate decision. I didn't want to feel distracted, I guess, by some of the stuff, because when you're not in your usual environment, sometimes that can happen. And I just wanted to enjoy where I was and not think about anything else except where I was, and to kind of stop with the mystery of where I was, which isn't such a mystery, really. At least an exotic mystery. I wasn't abroad. I went to Cornwall with my husband for a few days, which was really nice. It was good to get away and enjoy the countryside. We were literally in the middle of it for a couple of days. We stayed in a beautiful hut, a shepherd's hut, so a hut that'd been converted into living quarters. Tiny space, but just perfect. Like, didn't need all these bits and bobs that we have in our life to actually function, you know. Really basic amenities, but that was all we needed. We probably could have stayed quite comfortably for a couple of weeks, to be honest. And the main attraction of it was obviously being in the countryside and enjoying our environment and just switching off from everything. So the other thing I did was, even though I had my phone on me, I also made a deliberate decision to not be on it as much. So only use it for something specific, like when we're trying to work out how to get from A to B or where to have dinner. So really, like, very intentional with why am I using my phone, which I've noticed over the past couple of months I haven't been as deliberate, and that's happened because I've started vlogging, and I'm not gonna lie, there is this kind of urge to see if anyone said anything comments wise in relation to what I've put out, if I'm getting views or not. And as the time has gone on, the habit has increased, so I became quite conscious of that actually over the last few weeks. And I've done this before where I've completely switched off from my phone. I went on a silent retreat back in March. This was literally before lockdown happened, and an amazing retreat. So if anyone's looking to do one, I think they've reopened now. It's a place called Sharpham Trust, which I believe is that way in terms of not Cornwall, but maybe Devon. It's in a place called Totnes. So check that out if you're interested. And they do other retreats, not just silent ones if you're not really into that. But I did do a silent retreat, and we were given the opportunity to hand our phone in and not have that, even that temptation of it being there. So I did. I just didn't want to look at it. And even when the government had said that they're looking to put lockdown in place, etc., we were given the option to obviously make arrangements and have a look at our phone. I was like, nope, I'm not going to look at it. If it means I can still be here for, the end of the retreat, I'd rather just stick it out. And that inspired me, that time, not only the phone switching off, but so much more. Meditation, just being in my own company in a new location and just exploring things. So there's so much that came out of that. Maybe I'll talk about that another time. But the turning off the phone was one of the first things that I took away from that. And I decided to do it this time. And obviously I was having to police it myself, so to speak. And it was good. It was good not to feel distracted by it and not to be looking at it, several times during the day, even when nothing new has happened. So, and I think it created this space to obviously do other things that you would do with that time that you're spending scrolling through your social media. So, yeah, we did do, the basic things of just exploring, sightseeing, but like those few moments that you spend on your phone, instead maybe just being in the moment and enjoying the view in front of you. I also took, I think in my previous vlog 2 weeks ago, I showed a journal that I'd recently purchased, so I took that with me and I spent a couple of more than a couple of minutes writing in that. So yeah, it opened up this new space of possibility, which wouldn't have happened unless I decided to switch my phone off. And also the intention was there that I want to explore, I want to be, more present. So yeah, so switching off the phone happened, and therefore no vlogging, but it was good. It was good to have that downtime. And a couple of learning points that I wanted to share today actually came out of my time away. One of the learning points was I got quite stressed out on a drive that I did from where we were staying to Port Isaac, which is a really beautiful place, actually, for starters. It's on the coast. It's just this little town, and it's just really pretty. And my husband was like, let's go there, and it was on the day that we drove into Cornwall. So we went and checked into the hut and then left our stuff, and then off we went. And I was driving, and on my way to Port Isaac I had some huge hissy fits in the car because we were basically doing country lanes for the entire duration. And when I'm saying country lanes, I'm talking about lanes that are only big enough for one car to pass. And there's lay-bys on the side, so if you're quick enough to see approaching traffic, you can pull over and let people through, but sometimes you're having to reverse back or inch your way through and find your way through tiny gaps. So some of that happened. And on top of that, a herd of cows just appeared from absolutely nowhere. And when I'm saying a herd, there was probably about 50 odd. And we were just initially sat there going, what is going on? Why are there so many cows on the road? And eventually, after a few more minutes, because I think it took them about 10 minutes to pass by, it started, like the whole kind of, this doesn't have to be stressful, and it can be enjoyable. It can be a bit like, when you're in that moment of finding something funny but still stressing out, like that's what it was turning into. So that was like a revelation for me of choosing your mood in a situation. I mean, obviously, this isn't like groundbreaking stuff. It is available to us and it's obvious, but I guess I wanted to share it because I noticed it. I noticed the way I was being, and we all do this, where things can become overwhelming quite quickly. And you can either choose to have that overwhelming, stressful experience for however long this thing goes on for, or you can choose to let go and just be with whatever's going on. It doesn't mean that you have to be happy about it. It doesn't mean that you have to, find it funny or whatever. But choosing to at least let go of the seriousness of it all or the stress of it all and just be with whatever it is. It just makes a huge shift in your well-being. At least it does with me. Like, I noticed when I let go and started finding the situation funny, and as they're walking past, the cows are starting to look in, and I'm getting freaked out by them looking in, but at the same time finding it funny, and their slobber is getting left on the window, and I could have got even more overwhelmed by all of that, but actually something shifted in me, something felt like I could let go and just be with that moment and just enjoy it, just find moments of it funny. When I was in that kind of space, when I was in the car and the cars are passing by, I have to admit none of this actually kind of dawned on me that I'm doing this, but I was listening to an interview yesterday on TV, and there's this young guy. He's talking about having gone through depression and also having been on drugs, and he's a surfer and he's a Christian, and he was talking about how he was sitting out on his surfboard out at sea and feeling quite low about life, but the seagull kept on diving. There was a seagull and it kept on diving at him, and he would have to duck out the way, and then it would dive at him again, and then he'd duck out the way. And initially he was getting frustrated, like he just wanted to be, but this seagull just kept on coming at him. And a religious kind of aspect to his realization was that was God's way of showing him that he didn't need to be low or down. He could just let go a little bit and enjoy himself, have that play, mess around, enjoy life. When I heard that, I was like, it's almost like what the cows were doing for me. There I was 20 minutes maybe into the drive, increasingly becoming more and more overwhelmed by it. And it was like a sign of almost, you need these cows to come at you, Jaspreet, for you to then loosen up a bit and just let go. So, yeah, as scary as it was good. It was good to have that experience. Now I know what to do, because there was a cow leading this herd of cows at the front, and so you don't see the herd until maybe 20 seconds later. And it was like, initially it was like, oh, it's just this one cow, what's going on here? But now I know that if a herd of cows is coming at me, there's no need to get afraid, no need to be, what is going on here, because now I've experienced it. They did no harm, they passed by, and we went on, then we went to see Port Isaac and everything was fine. So that was one of the things I wanted to share. And the other revelation that came to me whilst I was away was, a part of me did feel like, who am I to have this experience? I've not been working 9 to 5 for quite some time now, and yeah, like a part of me did feel a bit undeserving of it. Why am I being given this opportunity to get away and have a holiday? Is it just that I'm getting to have this experience? And as I reflected on that, I guess with the cow experience and so many other things that happened over the course of this break, when I reflected back on all those things, I realised actually it doesn't matter if you're not working 9 to 5 or, working full time or whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter that, just because you're not doing all those things in life doesn't mean that you're not deserving of downtime or time away from your usual routine. Because having now come back to, not the usual, but you know what I mean, like the life that I'm normally living, my eyes are refreshed. I'm looking at things in a different way. I feel different. There's a lightness in me. And had I not had that time away, I don't know if I would be feeling the same way. Probably not. So, yeah, it was noticing this old thought pattern of you can only have downtime like that, or you can only have time away if you've been working hard enough. And if you've not been, then you don't deserve it. And I took the time to catch that thought whilst I was away, and actually also took the time to reflect on it and assessed whether it was a healthy thought or whether it was my self-critic jumping in, telling me that I was undeserving of this. And that's what having this, time now that I've got to myself, I'm able to do more of. I'm able to access or notice those thought patterns, literally like when they're happening, rather than before when I didn't really have as much time. When those self-critic patterns came up, I would just get consumed in it, wouldn't notice that it was going on. And if I did even notice it was going on, I wasn't really doing much with it. I wasn't working with it and seeing, is that what I really think deep down inside? Is that how I really feel? Undeserving of this time? So that's the gift of giving yourself time and space in life. If you do it, and the more you do it, the more you're able to notice what's coming up for you and check whether that's true. And that thought came up, I checked it, and I realised that it wasn't true. And I was able to just deal with it, rather than suppress it or dismiss it, just deal with it as and when it came up. And I guess I just want to also say that if there's anyone else out there that's taking time for themselves to do this self-exploration, or establishing themselves in a business of some sort, and you're finding yourself questioning whether you deserve that time off, yes. Yes, 100% yes, you do. You deserve to treat yourself to a few days of where you're not being in your usual environment, doing your usual things if you have a routine. I'm not always one for routine, but I like to get away from everything that's familiar and to be in a new environment, to have new experiences, to throw yourself in the deep end sometimes and take a new learning from it, like the cows. Yes, you're deserving of all of that. And you don't have to, believe that it's only if you've worked hard enough, because it's your hard that you're comparing things to. No one else is. Like, on the side, you might be comparing your hard work to someone else's, but actually it's that comparison of have I worked this, I haven't worked this hard right now like I used to 6 or 7 years ago or whatever it is, so therefore I don't deserve this time. That's what you're comparing this to, and there's no point in doing that, to be so hard on yourself. It doesn't get you anywhere. So yeah, let go, enjoy, and give yourself that break, because when you come back from it, things will feel different. And more is available in terms of creativity, if that's a field that you're working in, or just more ease is available within, and that's essentially where creativity comes from. So a couple of shares from me from my time away, and I guess I'll leave it there for this week, and I will catch you next Monday. I'm not going to be anywhere else for a little while, so I'll catch you next Monday for another little get together and sharing session. Thanks, bye.